What's going on, guys? Your boy Maya, as I am, Candle Co. CEO, founder, you know what I'm saying, all that. And today we making a candle, man. We're going to make one candle, just one, and we're going to do love spell. Love spell for candle sign. So I made the video the other day with all the different scents, and somebody requested love spell. And because, you know, she's extended family, she get what she want. That's what she asked for. That's what she got. So we're going to do one candle today, man. I already got my supplies. I got my jar, my wick sticker, obviously my scent, my scale, this big box of wax that we're going to measure out, and then my burner right here, man, my warmer. So we're going to get into it step by step. I'm going to show you guys how to make this one candle, this one love spell candle. All right, let's do it. You're going to clean it, and then we're going to wick the jar. So I just use this, you know, just alcohol, just to kind of clean the jar, so that way, you know, you don't get any of your scent, or, and I say, you don't get anything in your wax. You know, you don't want to, worst thing, lighting the candle and then you got dirt and all this other stuff inside your wax. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. So, you know, let's make sure that we, you know, handle that properly. Then you get your wick holder. Place your wick in there. Like so. Boom. Wick holder. Then we have, you know, our little sticky stick. And then we just try to find, you know, the center of the jar. Let's see. And hold it for a second. Oh. And that's step one, okay? So now we got our jar taken care of. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna measure out our wax. All right, so the next step is we're gonna measure out our wax. So for me, usually I would use a candle calculator, but it's one jar of wax. I know that I want to fill it up mostly, but I don't want to fill it up, you know, exactly. This is a 12-ounce jar. So I don't want to fill it up 12 ounces. So I probably want to do maybe like 11. I could do 12 because it's gonna shrink. So I'm measuring out, that's actually 11.32, 11.85, 7, 8, okay, 8.1, something like that. And what this is? It's too much. Okay, take just a little bit more off. All right. Well, usually you just use a candle calculator. All right, that's 12 ounces. Usually you use a candle calculator, and that way you can measure it out. You know, you can see what you have and what you don't have. I kind of messed it up, so it's not going to give you the accurate amount. I was going to show you guys, but it's not going to get an accurate amount. And then I just sit that to melt. And then while I'm doing that, the next thing I can do is then I can measure out my scents. So it'll be the same process. You would normally use a candle calculator, but because I kind of already know what I need, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my, and I'll show you, all I'm gonna use is I'm gonna get my measuring cup, I'm gonna put it on my scale. I know that, okay, I'm doing 10 to 12% for the batch. I'm only doing one candle. So if I got 12 ounces of wax for that one candle, then 10% of that is what? That's 1.2 ounces. So I know that I'm gonna pour 1.2 ounces of this scent right here into my measuring cup. And then when I'm ready, once my wax is melted, which I'll also show you, then I'll pour that into my wax and then I'll stir it, you know, so that way I can, you know, mix it together and different things like that. So now we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and measure this out, pour it up so that way you can see it, and we'll get to our next step. So now what I do is I just pour it in my measuring cup. Like I said, you know, I usually use a candle calculator to kind of be able to guesstimate or, you know how much you need, but I know I'm using a 12-ounce jar, 12-ounce vessel, right? And I know a 12-ounce vessel holds 12 ounces of wax. And I know usually you don't want to do 12 ounces, but to fill it up, I'm gonna do 12 ounces because it's gonna compact. So 12 ounces, and then the fragrance, whatever your fragrance load is. So usually you will do 10 to 12%, 8 to 12%. I'm gonna do the max, so anywhere between 10 to 12%. So 10% of 12 ounces is 1.2. So that's what we're gonna go for right here. We're gonna go for like 1.2 ounces. See, I'm a little bit over 1.23. And that's okay. So what I can do is I can just, you know what I'm saying, dump a little bit back. All right. And then I can reset it. What we got, 1.6. That'll do 1.6. So then I'm just going to take this 1.6 and then I'm going to pour it right here in my cup. In my wax. My wax is now melted down. If you can see that. The wax is now melted. So now all I have to do with the wax is I just have to stir it up, mix it in, and we'll be good to go. So all I did was I stirred in my wax, So now I stirred my scent into my wax. Now my scent is done. Everything is done. It's all ready. So when you stir, you can stir for like 3 to 5 minutes. I only did 1 candle, so I only did like 2 minutes. And then now all I gotta do is I turn my wax down because I don't want it to be too hot when I pour it. And then you just pour it. Turn the spout on. And then you just let it come out. Smells good. I never used Candle Science Love Spell before, but it smells just like the one I had from Macy's. Which, if you know me, Macy's is usually what I use. And see, I actually did use too much. I still did 11 ounces instead of 12 ounces, but that's all right. Yeah, I did too much. 12 ounces is way too much. So usually usually I don't fill it all the way up because then, like I said, you'll have an issue where, you know, the wax will meet the top, but you don't want it to do that. But then I know sometimes, like when I do it, it'll compact. But I think I can still fit the rest of this in here. Oh, yep. It's hot though, but it'll be all right. Because all it's gonna do is once it's done, once it sets a little bit more, it's just gonna compact. So all it's gonna do is this wax is just gonna set down and it's gonna go down a little more and a little more. You know what I mean? So, you know, I wouldn't worry too much about it being so high because, like I said, it's gonna set it a little bit, and once it's set, it's gonna consolidate. You know, from liquid to solid. You know, just like water, ice, and stuff like that. And then once it consolidates, it'll be a lot lower. But I wanted to fill it up as much as I could for this person. So, you know, that's what we did. And this is what we got. All right, so now we're done. We just gotta let the candle set. We got the wax and it's really hot, so I'm gonna put it back down. Let it set, trim the wick, and then you're good to go. And then I can label it, you know, different things like that. Like I said, again, we use Love Spell today. Love Spell from Candle Science. So it's just a very simple process, not a lot. The only thing about candle making, the most important thing is really just test it. You know what I'm saying? You gotta test to make sure that your scents gel well together, that you burn right with the right wicks. And mainly that's it, man. Testing your wicks, making sure that they burn properly, which can be a tedious process. Making sure you got the right scents, making sure you got good quality scent, make sure you got good quality scent throw, which just means how far can I smell the scent? You know, can I smell the scent in this room? Can I smell the scent in 2 rooms? Can I smell the scent in my whole house? That's what scent throw is. So we use, like I said, Love Spell from Candle Science. My wax is from Macy's. I love Macy's. My wicks, my wick clips, my jars, all that's from Macy's. And then this big baby right here, my warmer, I got that from Amazon, baby. Amazon. And I think I got my scale from Amazon too. So that's what we got, man. We just gonna let that baby sit. Then I'm gonna trim the wicks. I'm gonna label it. And we're gonna be done, man. So I appreciate you guys joining in. Once again, it's your boy, Ahmad, as I am Candle Co-founder, CEO. If you like what I do, subscribe, comment, like, all that. You know, it helps the algorithm. Isn't that what everybody says? But till the next time, peace.